Questers, welcome to day 6, highlights and recap of Quest 2015. First, again, welcome new Questers. We get new Questers every day, so if you're new to this Facebook forum, feel free to introduce yourself. Give us an introduction and a paragraph. Send us a link to your website or to your work in the world, and just dive in at your own pace. So, I also wanted to just give a special shout out and thanks of appreciation to Laura Jansen for sharing your fellow Questers' work on your own Facebook page with your fellow Questers' permission, of course. So thanks for that. That's really cool. That's really what DIT is all about, is helping, connect all of us to our own respective patches of the planet as well. So I posted a link here to Tracking Wonder's Compass of Wonder. It's a really cool poster that you can print out that I think is really appropriate to give to you at this point. And there's one of our sort of adages that we at Tracking Wonder live by, and that everybody in the Tracking Wonder pack and larger community tries to kind of live by and remind themselves of. And it's this: create with integrity, not in battle. The rest of your life outside of creative work is part of your creative quest too. So often we create these really weird dichotomies. It's just part of our left-right biological nature. But we also have this other part of our neurology and of our minds that allows us to trip ourselves out of some of those dichotomies and find integration, which is part of integrity, integration, and whole. So sometimes we say, oh, well, this is my creative work and everything else seems to be in battle against my creative work, and I have to be really protective of my creative time, my creative space, like get out of my creative space, right? So that's creating in battle in your life, and it's really fatiguing. Let me just tell you, it can be extremely fatiguing. So recognize that everything in your life is potentially part of your creative quest, and the creative work is part of that, and the quote non-creative work is part of that as well. Being a papa to 2 little girls, to me, is part and parcel of my creative work, for instance. So because I see this theme coming up today in the past couple of days with your work, and I just so appreciate your integrity. So John Mertz writes at thindifference.com, and John's done something kind of cool. He's been really integrating each of the first 3 prompts in his latest post at his blog at thindifference.com. And the name of his post is Your Life Quest: Create, Curate, Conflict. Love that third element. And he gets down to this. Because he's reflecting upon people. And your quest isn't just about your little solo tour. It involves other people and relationships, and that creates conflict, right? This goes right back to what I just said about creating an integrity. And so he talks about how that just naturally creates conflict and problems. So he says, what this all centers on is simply, dream definition is essential. You have to know what your quest is and define it if you're really going to stay with it this year. That's what he means by that. Doing the work toward my dream needs space to develop. Relationships, my dream space needs to be protected and managed through storms. Right on. Relationships are an intersection of space, and I need to ensure the intersections are happy. I love the agency he just assumed there, that I need to ensure the intersections are happy, supportive, and filled with respect and love. In work and relationships, tough decisions will need to be made with strength of heart and purpose. A quest is never easy. If it was, everyone would be completely fulfilled and the world would be an even more amazing place to live and prosper within. Possibly, it also might be kind of boring if there were no quest. So messiness always enters. I love that. Messiness always enters. How we work through the messiness will determine how well we achieve our dreams. I need metal in my quest. We all do. Boom. Molly Morrissey at mollymorrissey.com writes in her latest post, "The role which does not need filling." She says, quote, "For me to do my great work of 2015, I'll need to abandon the strict gatekeeper inside of me more often. I'll need to draw from all parts of my intellect and spirit. The smart parts, the poetic ones, the theorist, the painter, the navigator, the lover, the child, the elder, and the firmly disciplined one. So when I wonder who will get jettisoned next year, I think of the gatekeeper who holds back my creativity because of fear. Fear of being vulnerable by saying what holds the dearest meaning for me in the most beautiful way I can possibly say it, hoping to influence others to enjoy my words and be their best selves. That fear has a role. Every so often it is needed and useful, but the role doesn't have any speaking lines in my life next year." Julie Bird Simmons writes on our Facebook forum, she tells us about how early in her grade school years, about being involved in a art contest and holding on to this idea that she was going to win first place, and she doesn't. But this is what she draws from it now in her grown-up, wondrous life. "I'm amazed at how blissful naivete kept me holding on to my greatness, even if for a few hours, until I discovered I didn't get first place. And I'm amazed at how little minds, as well as big ones, believe that in order to be great, you have to be first. Little did I know that in that moment of pure disappointment, I redefined my whole experience in life and labeled myself not good enough. And little did I know that a great artist takes great practice." Box of Crayon CEO Michael Bungay-Stanier asks, "Who are you willing to disappoint or offend or upset or abandon for the sake of the great work that's calling you for your best 2015? And I have to say, myself. I'm willing to be disappointed in my first, second, or third draft. Yes. I'm willing to offend myself to get deeper into the subject matter. Yes. I will likely even get upset during the process, but I will keep going to find the great work that's calling for me." Right on, Julie. And yes, you will get upset at times, but keep going. Lorraine Von Tuyl writes this in our forum as well. "When signing the pledge for Quest 2015 and business is unusual, I dug deep for guidance, wanting to know if our definitions of best were the same, and integration of all parts and spaciousness aligned with a greater movement that is elevating all of us. I received a loud yes, and I feel blessed by the smorgasbord of rich guidance, diverse perspectives, and unique journeys of unraveling and shaping one another's unique journeys. It will, for me, be just as important and rich learning to discover the obstacles that stand in my and our way when amongst others with clear and strong intentions of being our best self." So you see also, again, the relationship matters coming up, and even the relationship to our different selves, as Molly was reflecting on too, and as Lorraine's reflecting on too, bringing it all in, all of ourselves, our pantheon of selves, or our inner congress of selves, and also just bringing in all of these different perspectives and not getting locked in necessarily to our own biases. And Vanessa, wow, from crackledsparklingephemera.wordpress.com. I called Vanessa out a couple of days ago to start fulfilling her pledge, and boy, did she respond. She was incredibly vulnerable with us on the Facebook forum and is now really modeling how to prototype one's own blog with crackledsparklingephemera.wordpress.com. So if you're just curious about blogging, but you're kind of nervous and you think you have to get some huge website all in place and your whole business all in place to even just start blogging, check out what Vanessa is doing at crackledsparklingephemera.wordpress.com. Colleen Nolan Armstrong also is very vulnerable with us in the Facebook forum as well. So who am I willing to disappoint or upset or abandon in 2015? Truly, I don't know. For they must be strangers to me, because those who stand with me, those who mean life to me, those who love me, they have been tested in fire, and I trust them to remain. Thanks for trusting us with that. Deirdre Walsh also writes in our forum, I'm going to turn this a bit on its head and say that I'm not going to be disappointed or offended or upset with or feel abandoned by anyone who is doing their thing. Oh, that's such great reversal. Which is everyone. My kids call this staying in your lane. When I get too involved in the outer appearances of someone else's life, they remind me to go back to my lane. In my worst people-pleasing moments, I have veered far, far from my lane. I can only do my thing in my lane. So we all can. And the cool thing is we get to be zooming or cruising together. All of it is part and parcel of your quest. We are off to have a great second week. Next prompt is this Tuesday, so you still have another day of reflection or assimilation and connection with each other on Monday. This week, we have beloved author, novelist, essayist Pam Houston, followed by CEO and philosopher and Iraqi team leader Charlie Gilkey. And then on Saturday, social psychologist and really smart business artist Todd Kashdan. In fact, all three are smart business artists as well in all different ways. Great different perspectives, helping us light ourselves up and light each other up for our best 2015. I've had a great first week with you, pretty astonishing. I can't even fully soak in and absorb what is happening because it's all happening right now. So I'm really just trying to soak it all in. It far exceeded any expectations that I might have had has happened so far. So thank you for co-creating this extraordinary quest together. Be well, and thanks for running with me.